how do you think that dating as you get older changes? Like your goals, what do you look for?
So I guess like personal opinion for me, like I kind of like mentioned before, when you first start dating when you're younger, you're looking at relatively superficial things, right? Like how they look, if you enjoy spending time with them and stuff like that, right? Like, and when you get older, you actually, I guess this is not everyone, but I guess like me personally, when I think about it, I think much like I have to be more like forward thinking, if that makes sense, right? I think about, oh, this person got like some savings, right? Is this person, are we going to be good when we retire? Like I don't want to move backwards, right? I know like what I put into like my life and what I want to be able to offer to someone else, right? A partner. And I would hope that they're probably like positioned kind of in the same way. I guess depending on the person, you're probably willing to struggle, a little bit. But I think the things that you look for in a person when you get older is like a little bit different, right? I definitely have a lot of friends that are kind of like love conquers all type of people, right? Like if there's like problem in their relationship or, hardship or whatever, they're kind of like, it doesn't matter, right? We love each other, so it'll work out, right? And I love that. I think that's beautiful. And I think I'm a little bit like more realistic than idealistic. So like I do look for someone who has like compatible like love languages, right? Like similar, not just interests, right? But like similar like goals, right? And drive and like aspirations, right? Or things like that. Because I think love is like a small fraction of what it takes for like a successful relationship. And I don't know if that's like popular thought, but like for me, I feel like there are like a lot of different things outside of like liking someone that kind of like makes it work for me at least.
I 100% agree with you. I think that I think love is a byproduct of respect and loyalty and like devotion. Not devotion is a bad word.
Yeah.
Devotion is a bad word. No. I think that like when you respect somebody, you're compatible with somebody. Because I feel that like with love, it kind of like dwindles. Like it might like in the beginning, it's like crazy. It's like, oh my God, I love this person. Right. Like butterflies. And then after a while, it kind of dies down. But if you have that respect, mutual respect for somebody, you can always build it back up because people are always changing. Like who you are 5 years ago, 10 years ago is completely different. But if you've been dating somebody for like 10 years, they've changed, you've changed, so you grew together.
Yeah.
You just constantly, I think so, somebody told me like you have to constantly fall in love with your partner over and over and over again, right?
I got a question for Karen, actually. You mentioned like you're not about the love conquers all thing. Some people say like, the love language stuff, the compatibility, all that stuff. They were like, that stuff all works as long as people work. Does that make sense? Like as long as people put work into the relationship, it will work regardless of what people's love language is. Like just you mentioned, like you have to fall in love. People say you have to fall in love with someone over and over again. Jay Shetty says, he said, love is a choice. You have to wake up and choose to love your partner or whatever. I'm single, so I don't know what that is, but that's what they say. So what do you think about that? You're like, no, you still need to have a savings.
No, I totally agree with you. The savings part is important, guys. Okay, but no, I 100% get what you're saying, and I agree. Like, you can have it all, in my opinion, right? And you can be different and have it all, but if your partner has to be mindful enough, right? If I'm like, hey, this is what I need, and you are mindful of that, I don't need someone to change as a person to fit my life. But I do think mindfulness is important for it to work out, right? Because if I'm X and you're Y, and you give me this and I give you this, sometimes you just kind of like, your relationship, your conversation like kind of go past each other, right? I think it takes like a certain type of work to like communicate in a way that makes sense, right? And is gonna help you solve issues, right? To like thug it together when shit is hard. But it's definitely possible, and I think that like that kind of like tips the balance, right? And it makes it easier. So I do think that you can have it all. And I think it's not all about the savings.
I'm just saying, there's people out there, they're like, no, like some people that we know that are very close to us. They think just love conquers all and everything will just be hunky-dory. I'm like, what about that? But they don't got no savings, so that's why I feel.
That's okay. So
that's why I agree with you on that aspect.
It could also be an inheritance or something. It's not all about that, but I think like being on the same level or like in agreement to where you guys want to be, and because I think you said this, Jesse, like you're always evolving, right? And I think so long as you know that you guys are evolving in the same place, you're kind of doing that together, right? In some type of alignment.
Gaby? Yes,
well, yeah, actually, Jesse and I are very, very different. We're almost opposites in our love languages, and we did have issues with that in the beginning of our relationship where like, even though I'm not like this with my friends, physical touch is my number one with my partner. and he's not. So when he wouldn't cuddle me, I'm like, oh God, he hates me. Like, I don't understand. Where his is probably more like acts of services or gift giving, and I don't really care for that as much. And so we would really have to kind of come to an agreement of how much he needs to give me for me to feel like, okay, like I understand where you're coming from. Where like I also had to understand he doesn't really like physical touch, so I can't. It was really trying to find a balance between us two. So
Question: when you say so, yours is physical touch. So you want to be cuddled and stuff like that. But do you give physical touch a lot too? Because I feel that from my observation, I feel that everybody's love languages, like the way you give and the way you receive, is completely different. Like I base it off of like parental upbringing. Like the way that my mom, my dad gave me love as a kid is how I receive love, and what I crave is what I didn't get. So like, okay, sorry, let me phrase that. How my parents gave me love is how I give others love. What they lacked and did not give me enough of is what I crave and is my love language. For example, my mom, this is a typical Asian thing, right? When you love somebody, you feed them. You give them all the food in the world. Oh, you like eating this? I'm gonna go buy 20 of them, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's how I give love, right? Acts of service. But what did I not get as a kid? You know, typical Asian parents, Tiger, you never see your parents kiss. You never see your parents give you a hug. You never see that stuff. So physical touch is really high up there. Quality time, bro. Parents are always working. They in the restaurant working their ass off. Never got quality time, never got physical touch. That's why I value those at such a high level. But when it comes to when I have a partner, it's like I do things for them. I'm always there for them. And I try to be like acts of service and like, but what is it? Words of affirmation. That's not something I ever got as a kid, nor did they ever show that. So like for me, like words of affirmation is not high at all in the way I give or receive.
So I think I'm a little different in that. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was the one that worked, but they were very lovey-dovey, all up in our faces, 24/7. I think physical touch is just something that, like, really bonds me with someone because I don't like doing it with my friends that much. I mean, I rarely hug Karen, and Karen's my best friend, so.
That's not true. I force it on her regularly.
And I'm just like, oh, God. But I don't know. It's just something, or quality time, too. Like, I quality time is like a tricky thing. Like quality time to me is just like spending time in the same room with someone. It doesn't necessarily mean doing stuff together. That's how I'm just like, yeah, seriously, when I tell Karen I'm going to come over, like sometimes we don't even talk. I'm just put on anime on the TV and then she's working. But I just think that, oh yeah, we hung out today.
You like her presence.
Yeah, I like the presence, of it. And that's to me as equal as physical touch for me and Jesse.
Okay, so Karen got that addictive, like, energy that you just feed off of.
Yes.
We do this thing called like parallel hanging out, where we're just like doing separate things but in the same space, and that's good for us.
Hey, Hac, I know me and you have had a discussion about this a long time ago. I don't know if you remember, but it's funny how like when you not to make this a sexist thing, but it's funny how like when women talk about it, it's like they have to be like an equal and stuff like that. And we had this discussion before where I used to think the exact same way. We're like, oh, I want a girl to be like this. I want to be a girl like this. And then your exact words were, bro, as you get older, none of that matters.
Sounds like Hac.
Do you remember telling me that?
I don't remember that conversation.
That also sounds like Hac.
we were probably at Echo Stage, and we were probably drunk. So, in my defense.
I know the exact word. It was basically, I said that when I find like a partner, one thing that my mom told me and I've always kept is like the girl has to be educated because it shows that they're willing to go through like a 4-year anniversary, 4-year university and like finish something. But then I never told you this, but I actually took that, like you said, that doesn't matter when you get older. And I actually took that to heart, and now that's no longer like a preference of mine. Because you said that as long as they're a good person and they're willing to show that, like, okay, they may not want to go to school, but that may not be the path they want to take, but it shows that they're actually doing something else with their life, then it's basically the same thing. Because maybe school wasn't for them. So I'll let you know that I really took your words to heart there.
No, dude, I appreciate that. Yeah, I do definitely mean what I said for sure, because I think when I was at one point in my life, I definitely like agree with your statement. Okay, somebody definitely has to go to school 4 years at least. It's like a bare minimum stuff, right? But these are all like, they're almost like specs that you put out there. Okay, like I need, like if you went car shopping, you would be like, okay, let's say I want a red car. It needs to go 60 miles and like 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. I also need leather seats or whatever. Like these are the specs you think that you want in your car. But going car shopping is not the same thing as like finding a partner. You know what I mean? A lot of times you don't know what you're gonna like until you see it. Like you might end up, I mean, Gabby's like, yo, Jesse's like the exact opposite of me. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, and honestly, the relationships I've had where the person has been the exact opposite, where I'm like, there's no way, like, you know, I'm fell for this person.
Yeah.
Like, those have been like the most fun, right? There is something to be said about relationships where you and the other person are similar and you guys have similar strengths, right? I don't think that I don't think one or the other is better, but like, I don't know. Going back to what you were saying about, I mean, is the person a good person or not is a much more important question in my mind.
Yeah, because it's like I said, that conversation we had, we were both inebriated. That's facts. but like it really resonated because I was just talking with Gaby and Karen before you got here. I was like, me and Hac always have these deep ass conversations. Back in soundcheck or Echo Stage, like, why are we having this conversation right now? But now, like, it was like you changed my mind on that because before I was like, I had to have this, and this, and they're like deal breakers if they ain't there. But now it's gone to the point where it's like it's okay. It's like as long as I have this and the rest is like negotiable. The main thing is that they're a good person, and like actually, I don't mind even saying it. It's like preference. I prefer tall women, right? And the thing is, okay, my reasoning for why I prefer tall women is not what people think it is. It's a very unselfish reason. I want my son to be 6 foot. All right, so I want a tall woman. That's a probability factor that my son's gonna be tall, right? And then the thing that you said, like I used to say you gotta be educated. I don't really care no more. As long as they have like something going with their life and they're passionate about something and they're like, whether they got a business or whatever, or anything they want. Like Karen, like you say you're in full employment now. You don't know what your future is, but you want to do something that you're passionate about. You know, I just want to see that a woman's like passionate about something, right? And not like, I don't really like needy girls, so if they're not passionate about something, they're probably gonna be like all over my stuff, disrupting my peace and stuff like that. That's the way I see it, right? And then like just a good person, just someone that's a good person, that like a nice person, treat people good, someone that I know that's gonna be a good like mother to my children. That's basically it.
Dang, so you're telling me Hac's words are what changed your mind?
Yes.
Because Jesse is, when my mom and dad asked me, like, oh, why do you think Jesse hasn't like settled down yet? I was like, I think he might be too picky. And that was literally what they said for the longest time until recently. You're like, Mom, I'm not picky. I just want these 2 things really. And that's it.
Yeah.
So
I changed my...
You should be picky though. You should be picky though.
Yeah.
And for sure, I'm not saying that there aren't any like prerequisites that, like, I mean, good person is definitely like, okay, like I need that one.
Yeah.
That one's like but I'm saying like a lot of the other stuff, like, I don't know, man, like, it's not the same, like when you, I don't know like how it works when you like, you know, start to like someone, but you don't sometimes get to pick who you like and who you know.
Yo, honestly, that's actually like real talk because so I'm like religious, right? And then I believe that sometimes who you get is not who you think you're gonna get. So if you like put too many labels or too many deal breakers on it, maybe this perfect person comes into your life and you knock them for one thing, and it's like, dang, why'd you knock them off for that one thing when y'all could have been great together? So I try to be like a little more lenient about it. So
I can agree with that.
Are we still talking about the savings part?
savings part?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I mean,
No, I'm
does a
kidding.
girl have to have a savings? I mean, I'm Chinese. Of course she has to have a savings.
Wait, let me ask you. For y'all two savings people, what if someone has everything, but they just don't have a savings?
She could build a savings.
I hope they have an accelerated path to a savings, really, right? Like, no,
Just,
I'm kidding. I don't mean it's.
I'm just messing with you.
That's just off the top, like casual thing.